We're here today with Hits, Cuts, and Bruises, and today we are here with Cuts and Bruises, and our special guest. He's a former NFL player from West Palm Beach, Florida. He's a Detroit Lion player. He's a Giants player. He's a University of West Palm Beach player.
West Palm Beach.
Excuse me,
West Virginia.
West Virginia, and his name is Barrett Green.
The one and only.
And he's here to explain to us what he's into as far as his football foundation, football, the original football, not United States football, and he's live from Spain, expressing about his everything that he's going to put in with his son and all the other athletes and the Sean Taylors, and he's going to just put us in the whole funk and let us know what he's supporting and spending all his time with, and get his hometown, Riviera Beach, on board with soccer. Barry Green.
Greetings from Spain. Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate you taking the time, and I'm looking forward to sharing this opportunity with you guys and bringing this beautiful game back to the crib and letting kids back home learn some of the things that I've experienced traveling all around the world, man.
Well, it's a beautiful game. Like I was telling you previously, it's been in my house for a very long time. I don't bought all them $100 Barcelona jerseys for my son. Trying to figure out why they cost so much, but price is the price. Thank you, Nike. Not sponsored, would like to be, but
they gotta get paid.
That's
why they get the big bucks.
Get paid.
Yeah.
But when you think about football, of course, you played the most popular version for the United States. How do you see, bringing this back and bringing a different kind of sport to the kids? How do you plan to get them excited about it?
Yeah, so that's a long story. um, yeah, I got started off playing football in Riviera Beach. Um, went off to college, got a scholarship. Like you said, had the opportunity to play in the NFL for 7 years, played for the New York Giants, Detroit Lions. And one of the things that I've learned about the NFL is it's a very, very volatile game. You know what I mean? Very violent game, and there's not a guaranteed money in it. It's very hard labor on the body. It gives you a great head start to life if you plan your money right. But it's a very volatile lifestyle. The NFL career lasts about 2.8 years, and most guys don't do very well with their money after, and it's just I don't know. I didn't want my son to experience that whole dynamic. You know what I mean? I wanted him to learn all the virtues that you learn from playing professional sport, discipline, hard work, everything, resilience. I wanted him to learn all of that by way of sport, because it's hard to teach it in the household. But I didn't want him to touch a football field. I wouldn't let him touch a football field. He would have to fight me personally to go into a football field. That's how I feel about it. It's just it can be a very dirty game. I'm not here to talk bad about NFL or football, but I just think that the opportunities that exist with professional soccer needs to be explored by our community, and make decisions accordingly.
Right. So I want you to explain to me how your foundation, your league or whatever, gets to be called the Great Sean Taylor.
Yeah, so Sean is like my little brother, man. Hmm,
Great guy,
yeah, it's hard for me to talk about Sean. Sean, I met Sean when he was in high school at Gulliver High School in Miami. I was in the NFL at the time. I was playing for the Lions. Um, and I remember one of my homeboys introduced him to me. His name is Fat Art on the beach in Miami. You know what I mean? And he was like, this young kid's gonna be amazing. And I'm in the NFL and I'm hearing this all the time. About young kids coming up. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I didn't pay it too much attention. But next time I came back home to Miami, um, he had garnered a little bit of a reputation in Miami. You know what I mean? So everybody in Miami was talking about him, and I kind of took him under my wing during the off season, and we became kind of close. We started working out together. Blah blah blah. Um, Next thing you know, he went to Miami. He went to University of Miami, and here I am. I'm watching ESPN sometimes, and I see my highlights, and I see his highlights, and I'm like, damn. And then like he kept on he kept climbing and performing and doing very well, and all the hard work that he was putting in, and that we were doing during the off season, it was paying off. And like it was awesome to see it as an older brother, kind of like and he went and got drafted. He was drafted, I think, the number 6 or number 8 pick in the draft after an extraordinary career in Miami. And he and I were very close. Our families were close. My wife and his girl were close. Our kids were close. He bought my son his first pair of shoes. You know what I mean? Back when he didn't even wear shoes, he was still wearing the little soft things. I don't even know what you call them, but yeah. And he bought him a pair of red Jordans. You know what I mean? And like, so yeah, Sean was very close to me, very dear to me. We had a very close relationship, very special. Different from it wasn't a football relationship. It wasn't. We weren't never teammates, but he was like a little brother, yeah. And like I would give him advice. He would get into situations, and like I would give him, advice as an older brother, and when all that happened with Sean, he was at the top of his career. He had we had just went to Ruth Chris that off season. That was the first season I didn't play in the NFL, and before he went off to Washington, we went to Ruth Chris to dinner, and I remember telling him bye, and he had lost weight because he wanted to get down to like 215 or 210. He felt like he was going to make him a better player. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, and all that happened November 27th, 2007. He was leading the NFL in interceptions. You know what I mean? So I guess my point in saying all of this is he experienced such a height in his NFL career, in his football career, and he left at the top. You know what I mean? And I remember when that all that happened, November 27th. One of the things that I said to myself is, I want his name to be remembered. I want to make sure his name is remembered. It's not. I didn't feel like it was fair that he had his life taken away from him like that at the top of his career. So it was important to me that his name be remembered. So that's the reason behind TaylorMade.
Awesome, great deal, man. So now that we're here now, and everybody knows when they see Taylor Made coming through your city, because we're gonna hey, whenever you need to do something, whatever, we're gonna help you. Let everybody remember Sean Taylor, what you're doing. But right now we're actually letting people know that it's a greater skill and longevity with football compared to the rigorous American football. You know what I mean? These kids get to learn a lot other than football because I know that European game that they actually take care of the kids. I mean, at an early age. I mean, it's great. And then you say they can actually be a pro at the start of like 13, maybe.
Yeah, the world of European soccer is entirely different, man. I learned that when I was in 2013. My son was 6 years old, and I brought him to Barcelona for a summer camp, and I was just impressed not only with Europe and my surroundings, but just the extent of the level that they take youth sport. You know what I mean? The seriousness to which they take youth sport. There's nothing comparable to it in the United States, like tennis, golf, football, baseball, basketball. There's nothing comparable to soccer in Europe at 6 years old. The level of organization, level of sophistication, level of competition. There's no competition in between the United States and Spain. So once I saw that, I recognized that. You know what I mean? Having been a professional athlete, um, so I wanted. He said, my son said he wanted to play professional soccer. So I wanted to put him in the best environment. And once I saw that in Barcelona, it kind of opened my eyes. I was married at the time, and I asked my wife would she be willing to move to Barcelona. So we did, and we moved to Barcelona that same year. Right after that summer, we moved to Barcelona in that fall, and we joined the league, and I just saw once again it opened my eyes. Their level of play, and just for example, they keep every single statistical category for 6 year olds for soccer, like minutes played, goals scored, everything, assists. I mean, it's a level of organization that we don't have in the United States at the youth level. So once I saw all that, I mean, he said he wanted to play soccer. It was a no brainer. If you want to be the best, you got to be around the best, and that's where the best were. And I knew that, I recognized that. So that's why I brought him to Barcelona, and that was in 2013, and then we stayed to 2015. Then we came back to Miami, and he went to the best soccer places in Miami. He made the Olympic development team. He made the academy in Miami. But even in looking at that level of competition and that level of coaching and sophistication, it was no comparison to what I had just experienced in Barcelona. So I couldn't wait to get my son back out of Miami, that was at his highest level. Like he represented Florida for the Olympic development team. So I couldn't wait to get him away from there and get him back to Spain because having been a professional athlete, like I know what it looks like. I know the crispness of the drills. I know the repetitions, the stations that you go through in practice, specificity of each. I know what it looks like. So um, I couldn't wait to get back to Spain, and I got the opportunity. Fortunately, I took him to Rosario, Argentina, which is the birthplace of who Ken?
Is
Who's
that Messi?
huh?
Is it Messi?
Leo Messi.
Yeah.
So we went to his hometown, and this is my desperation trying to get him around the best, right? Because I took him from Spain and brought him back to Miami, and I was frustrated. So I took him to Rosario, Argentina, and lo and behold, like Shilly was just saying, God is good, man. God created an opportunity for him, and we went to a soccer academy in Rosario, and I ended up meeting the guy who ran the academy, and he loved the way Nico played, and his son played for the Argentinian national team. And so I knew he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? So and he was the director of the academy. Anyways, his son ended up getting recruited. He got signed by Villarreal, and when he got signed, he called me. I was in Miami, and he was like, I would love for Nico to come out here. This is a great opportunity. It's blah blah blah. He explained to me the dynamic of Villarreal in Spain, and I brought him, and it's been downhill ever since. He's equivalent. He's basically in the minors of Major League Baseball. So he's climbing up, and you know, the the higher level of competition.
So even coming back and tapping into this unused resource that we have in the states, because we have speed. You look at the draft that just happened. All the players, most of the players came from Florida, hands down. When you tap it into that type of resource, how do you see developing that speed into skill as far as dribbling and with the vast majority of the kids starting so early, we playing catch up.
Right.
Of course, with the camp age is from what to what age?
It's from officially 6 to 16, but really we're targeting 6 to 12.
Because even I think that's a great move because a lot of those boys that are in track, that are in football already,
very impressionable.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to play that. That's what I was saying earlier, as far as showing them. Um, I think a lot of that goes into heroes. You're a local hero,
right? Absolutely,
and that's why we welcome you to this platform, because you're somebody who's done it. You've done some things. We want to do additional things. So I think a lot of parents and I think a lot of kids will end up listening to you, and you're actually doing it. It's like, hey, you got the resources, and you want to bring some of those resources back to the states to help out those people that have never been exposed to what I call the real football.
Right. And to piggyback on Ken, Barrett, I really admire the fact that you're willing to share your testimony with your kid about your son, and really share it with your hometown, to know the fact that we in desperate need, because we all know that if anybody that went through sports or whatever, sports help the parents. It helps a kid be able to just it helps raise the kids, know about camaraderie, your teamwork, all that. It helps in everyday life. And football is just like any other thing. It's like you're getting a lesson as well, and that helps. The lesson, the cliche of regular football and basketball, is it's regular, like you say. When you treat it like the way they are, that's great. Kids got a lot to look forward to, and I'm glad you're giving that opportunity to your hometown as well too.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. My mind just went in 1,000 different directions between you and Ken both talking, so I don't even know what I was gonna say, but yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for kids to learn a new game. Like I was telling Ken earlier, like when the NFL, like I do, um, it's a very volatile game. It's a very violent game, but it's a very dirty game as well. You know what I mean? And I mean that from every side. The financial advisors, the agents, the game itself. No guaranteed contracts. It's the only professional sport in all of sports that doesn't have guaranteed contracts. They are changing. They are changing some things now. I will say this about the NFL: it's getting better. Because when I played, it was we could almost kill each other. Now you can't do that. You can't really hit a quarterback. You can't really dive into an opponent's chest. Um, and so it's gotten better, but it's still a long ways to go. And I just think that it'll be a beautiful thing you know, kids in our communities had exposure and had the opportunity to at least have the opportunity to make a decision as to whether or not they want to play soccer or football, and then being exposed to it at the right level. You know what I mean? I think that's the difference maker, or it can be. Um, that's one of the things that I wanted to say, but it was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot now.
It's the A and good information because every information that you give us, you actually you're a trendsetter. You what are you finna do right now? You a trendsetter. You know how many kids and parents are so embedded in the cliche of just regular football and basketball and all that. Now you have an opportunity to be a trendsetter and change the different ideas. And you're right. USA, American football doesn't have guaranteed contracts, and who knows it better than yourself? And I think all your knowledge that you have and experience that you have with American sports, period, the business part, all the way around, is totally different. And you're the right person to explain it, and
Hmm.
parents can actually trust you with it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
great. You know what I mean? And it's a different opportunity because man, there's some skilled guys. What they can do with their arms, they can do with their legs. So that's and I played basketball. So if I could do a crossover dribbling, they do a crossover, and they also call it dribbling with their feet. And it's interesting. It's different. It's foreign to us, like
It's
literally.
beautiful. It's beautiful, man. It is. And, it's time that our communities had access to it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, not one of the things that I was telling you guys about when my son came back to the United States, I was introduced to a different system. You know what I mean? In the United States, the system is different from the one I explained to you in Spain. The one in the United States is it's pay to play, literally. So if you can afford to take off from work, if you can afford to travel and pay gas and hotel and food almost every other weekend in the United States, you can play travel soccer. But a lot of kids in the inner cities can't afford to do all of that. You know what I mean? And their parents can't afford to do all of that. So therefore, they only getting exposure to about maybe 10 to 15% of the talent in the United States of America. That's why we don't produce no elite soccer players because they're recruiting affluent kids. They don't recruit the kids that make up the NBA and the NFL aren't from there. And I had this conversation with Villarreal, and they understood me. You know what I mean? They understand, like, if you look at France's national team, it's all black. If you look at England's national team, it's majority black. And that's because of migration. You know what I mean? Migrants have come over to Europe and grown up with their parents in Europe. You know what I mean? They touched the ball at an early age and they had high level coaching at an early age. So, therefore, England's national team and France's national team are all black. The reason why USA has no success in soccer is because of limited exposure. Kids who play soccer in the United States are not kids who are from the inner cities that make up the rest of the professional leagues in the United States. It's just that simple. And the inner cities don't have access to the game of soccer. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. And Villarreal, believe it or not, understood that what I was saying. And they understand we had some very frank conversations. And so that's the reason why I'm doing business with them. That's the reason why I'm partnering with them to come back to the crib, and we're going to check it out throughout, South Florida, and hopefully all throughout the Southeast.
Y'all guys gonna be like rock stars. I saw the lineup, the travel lineup from city to city. That's great, man.
Yeah, man. So one step at a time. I just want to and I'm taking it to in South Florida. I'm taking it to black neighborhoods. I'm taking it to Riviera Beach. I'm taking it to Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, Pompano. I got my homeboys in Miami that run the parks. All throughout Liberty City, Opelika, all my boys that I play ball with, they're my ambassadors. So they're helping me spread the message and also arrange, helping to organize and galvanize kids, you know what I mean? Because a lot of them already have professional, oh, well, they have professional, they have youth soccer league, youth football leagues. So I'm having them convey the same message to the parents and the kids. It's a different opportunity if you're interested in learning more. Here's the opportunity for you to do so.
So in hindsight, what if suppose that you get these kids, we're gonna say a plethora of kids, just like
Hmm.
they're really buying into it. So where do we go next with the league as far as progression wise?
Exposure, bro.
Yes.
I want to get them over to Europe. I want to get them to Argentina. You know, Argentina is a different world, man. It's a third world country. You know what I mean? So kids there are playing, soccer in favelas in like third world ghettos, like and garbage, everywhere. It's entirely different dynamic, and they're playing with a different hunger, and playing for a different reason. So that interaction alone within itself, I mean, Sheila, from basketball, you go against some dogs. It's entirely different from going against you know private school kids. You know what I mean? They out there running up and down the court. They jumping and dunking and shit, and like it's intimidating. You know what I mean? Um, it's a different world. You know what I mean? And that's what European soccer is to America. You know what I mean? In America, we integrated sport in the '60s and '70s, and with basketball and football.
They're catching up in
Um,
basketball big time.
but it's just not happening. It's just not happening in European soccer. Like it's literally happening right now in soccer, and we're at the crux of that. You know what I mean? And I think that the system in America is broken. I don't think we're ever going to produce players unless we go to the inner cities and go to the hood and start getting black kids. I mean, there's no secret about that. I mean, and like I said, Villarreal understood it, and that's the reason why I'm working with them. And um, who would I? Sheila, you said something. One of the things that I forgot I was going to say is, who would I be if I didn't bring this back home? Everything that I've learned, you know what I mean? Everything I've been exposed to. Like, how could I not bring that back to the crib? I mean, I've traveled to Argentina with my son. I have the relationships over there with soccer academies. I have relationships over here in Spain with soccer academies. My son plays for Villarreal. He's a jump away from being on that professional first team. So, like, who would I be if I was been exposed to all of this and didn't help little kids back at the crib and realize this opportunity as well? You know what I mean?
So and so what we're trying to do is support you and your quest of being a trendsetter and bringing that way back to the United States and starting off in your home state with the youth and showing them a whole different world And I'm sure they're gonna catch on because, like you say, our ethnic kids, I mean our youth kids and stuff like that, whatever, they're gonna catch on quick. Definitely. So that's gonna be easy, man. And just get, it's all about opportunity. You're offering an opportunity. It's gonna be great.
Opportunity and exposure.
Right. That goes hand in hand. And like you say, it's a lot of things here in soccer or whatever in the United States is broken. And by you being able, you and your crew and stuff like that, being able to see the highest of the high, you can actually bring it here the correct way. And it's gonna catapult. I see it, man. I really see it.
And like I was telling you earlier, there are fans that are here. You know, my son is a part of the Barcelona fan club up in New York, and he watches all the games. They go to this pub or bar, and they everybody got on Barcelona, this that. I took him down to Miami to see Messi when he first started. So these are things that it's enough people that's here to get the word out there. Of course, we got World Cup coming, so
it's perfect timing.
Yeah, you have absolute 1000% perfect timing because when the whole entire world, those eyes are going to be on the United States. You know, it gets no bigger than that at all. So by you coming back and saying, "Hey, here's something different. Here's something that y'all might not have thought about." You know, it's not baseball, it's not basketball, it's not football. You know, golf got a little push here, but that fell off. But like you said, it's all about exposure. And when that exposure comes through, and they're able to see that, hey, there's other kids that are interested in this as well, then it's gonna start up. And I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys for having me and giving me the platform to explain all of this. You know what I mean? This whole project. I think it's an incredible opportunity for these young boys and girls to experience and just develop a alternative pathway or route. It doesn't always have to be sports, first of all, but it doesn't always have to be football or basketball. And that's what I want kids to realize. You don't have to play one of those sports in order to create an avenue for a scholarship, to create an avenue whereas you can improve the quality of life for you and your family. There's other options, other alternatives, especially if you want to explore your athletic career. I think soccer is a tremendous avenue. Like I said, kids can turn professional at any age. The longevity, the guaranteed contracts. I think it's just a beautiful game. It's much less violent. You don't have to do nearly the amount of damage that I've done to my body. You know what I mean? And especially with all the information that's coming out now with concussions and brain damage and CTE, like I can't as a parent, I don't have the stomach to make that decision anymore. You know what I mean? Not for my son. Not when I know there's other options. So I mean, yeah, like we said, I just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to explore this option. I think it's a beautiful alternative. Um, I'm over here in Spain right now with my son. He speaks Spanish fluently. It's a great opportunity for these kids to travel outside of the country. That's one of the things that I want to do with my foundation is these same places that I took my son to, I want to take these kids to. So I already have these relationships in Rosario, Argentina. You know what I mean? I already have these relationships in Villarreal, Spain. Villarreal in all of Spain probably has the most um, fields, facilities in all of Spain. more so than Barcelona, more so than Real Madrid. Just think about it. They're in the middle of a major cities. You know what I mean? So they can't put up 10 fields like they can here in the Villarreal. You know what I mean? They got fields everywhere. They own half the city, or they own the entire city. They built the city, really. He owns the supermarkets, the soccer team, the tile companies. I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive, and their whole family is, and it's beautiful for for our culture to learn from the things that they've done. It's a beautiful thing, and not only the soccer, but the business aspect of it as well.
Awesome. Down here, the most successful situation I saw youth wise is actually DJ Timo. His brother-in-law son, Chico Morrison. His son is very
I know Chico's.
His son
I talked with A about Chico's son.
I heard he's been in it. He's really tough.
Mm-hmm.
That kid is like serious about it. You know what I mean? And as far as like, I can't think of a lot off my head, but he just rings a good bell. Like he's really into it. He's been in since he's been a little guy, and he's
got to get over to Europe, man.
Yeah,
he's got to get to Europe,
and I
has to.
And I hope
that's the reason why I started those. That age level so low is because if you haven't, I'm not saying it's 100%, but if you haven't touched a soccer ball by age 8,
it might be too late.
It's too late.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it's like that in a lot of sports. Trust me, you can't tell the parents
if you haven't been over to Europe by age 10, it's almost too late.
Yeah.
Because it's a different animal, you know what I mean? These kids learn how to walk, and then they start dribbling soccer balls as soon as they start learning how to walk.
Mm-hmm.
So
we gotta catch them now,
because there is no huge basketball world over here. There's no huge football world over here. That's all they got.
Yeah.
So they go from walking to dribbling to basketball. So think about that.
That's awesome.
And you're trying to put, I don't care how athletic, I don't care how fast you are. Listen to what I'm going to say. Or how high you jump. The ball moves faster than the man. It always has, it always will. I don't care how fast you are.
Yeah.
You can't outrun the ball.
Never thought about it like that. But sometimes you watch the matches.
They depend on that. They depend on that fact. That, you might run faster than I do, but this ball is going to beat you from point A to point B. So they concentrate on style of play, skill, set, and moving without the ball. You know what I mean? You can't even begin to coach that at the youth level in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's too late.
It's a foreign subject to them. Like they can't even begin to explain that. So yeah, we got a long ways to go, but the best place to go is the inner cities, and VRL understands that. And once these kids at an early age get a soccer ball, and they're able to possess the same skill set that these European players do, it's going to change the game, just like the NBA. We're not going to be playing half-court basketball no more. We're going to be running up and down the court. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I'm going to make sure we get the information out there. So, May 18th is, of course, the day for the camp that's going to be at Tate's. Oh, well, I should say Dan Calloway Center.
That's right.
It's going to start at 10 a.m. To 1 p.m. And what's the cost of this, Barrett?
Say it again.
How much does this cost?
No cost. All free. And that's the precedent, the foundation wants to set. And that's the curse we're trying to break. in the United States, you have to have
Pay to play.
money in order to play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to change that narrative and that dynamic, and make these camps free. Give them the, and just because they're free doesn't mean they're not gonna have access to the highest level of coaching. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do both, which is kind of different. Um, and I want to start it off in Riviera Beach, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
That's right.
And yeah, Ken, everything is free, man.
That's
what I
It'll
like
be
great.
to hear.
food, music, and it'll be a great environment. And that's what I'm trying to share with our communities is soccer is a beautiful game, man, and it's
Mm-hmm.
appreciated all around the world and treated as such. But in America, we don't celebrate it. But I think the more we get access to it, I think that we will. And that's the environment I'm trying to create in Riviera Beach.
You got it. That's good. And
Mm.
what is basically what's the goal as far as participants with the league or whatever? I know it's always a number. And do you have kind of like a goal of really with the league and like number as far as youth, whatever participants, where you standard, where you aimed at?
Yeah. Well, I've kind of set it up in three different phases
Mm-hmm.
where Goal Bound is kind of like an introduction to the community,
Mm-hmm.
the game of soccer, because we don't necessarily play it in our communities. So that's kind of like the introduction. Then I'm going to turn right back around and next month and bring in Villarreal with their coaches, and we're going to do camps. So we're going to do a 3-day camp over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So all this is in an effort to galvanize the community and form a league, which I want to do at the beginning of next year in each of these communities in South Florida.
Okay.
Create this league, and I want this league to compete against itself, intra-league. I don't want their style of play to be tainted by American coaching. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I want to. I want them to be coached by European coaches, and then I want them during the off season, during the summers, I want them to travel to these places, and Valenciana, Spain, and Rosario, Argentina, places I've taken my son to build him into the player that he is now.
That's
I want to
impressive.
give
That's very
I want to give
impressive,
these
man.
kids access to the same thing. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to make it as free as possible. So I'm doing it through my foundation, and I'm doing it in my boy's name, and that's kind of what we're doing. Dan Calloway, May 18th, 10 a.m. We're gonna get it started, and like I said, we're gonna do Goal Bound and introduce this whole concept to the community project, and then we're gonna turn right back around in June and bring in Villarreal with their coaches and their style of play, and we're going to teach it at a high level, man. We're going to have a virtual component, whereas we can, have our kids actually coached and recruited while they're in the United States, and then during the summers, I want to bring them out to these places, and then they can get firsthand experience.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So will it is it possible like I know you saying you don't want United States to taint the game, basically taint the coaches or whatever. Is there any way possible you guys can provide or create a space where coaches can actually like that's what you were speaking of, like a workshop for coaches, something like that?
That's a great question.
Because that's where it's gonna have to boil down to.
Yeah, that's a good question. Villarreal is very ambitious about doing that. They realize that in order to really impact the community and change the way we want to, they're gonna have to
Educate, yeah.
they're gonna have to educate local coaches. You know what I mean? Um, that is one of the biggest obstacles that we're gonna face. We're gonna have to acclimate um, American coaches to the European game to a degree. But at the same time, I'm not gonna depend on that. I'm gonna bring over coaches from Argentina and Spain,
Okay.
um, literally full time. But at the
Wow.
same time, we're going to also teach local coaches expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think in order to create longevity with it, I think you're gonna have to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna. I think it's gonna progress. I really do. I really do because it's new, and when we're from the same place, and it actually turn the youth on something, and they get to see somebody that actually looks like them.
Yeah,
playing the sport.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a great turnaround right there.
That make a big difference.
Shilly, you were asking me about the coaches, though. Unfortunately, there are no black coaches in America. Soccer coaches, very, very, very few.
Wow.
And that's another reason why we don't have any black participation because there's nobody to coach it. But not only that, it's systemic. You know what I mean? So when you look at the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, or the Men's League, M.L.S., they don't have black coaches. They don't have black assistant coaches. It's systemic, and it's even uglier than the NFL.
Wow.
The numbers, you know what I mean? So all that's going to have to change
Definitely.
in order to change the dynamic of players that are produced by America in these communities. You know what I mean? But I will give VRL this is that they're willing to come in and begin that process.
That's all that counts. You getting the best of the best, and I think grooming educators, new coaches, and stuff like that. That will probably be that'll be. I think that'll be a great transition as well. If once that's bought into it, sky's the limit as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the kids are one thing. Kids that age, they're very impressionable. Now you're talking about 30, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus coaches. If the kids can't impress you enough to get and dive in more, come on, man, what are we doing? Because the kids gonna end up impressing the coaches more because they're gonna be so intuitive with the game. That's a beautiful game. It's a very beautiful game.
It's a beautiful game, man, and I've been exposed to it at a level that I only wish that we could our kids could be exposed to. In Argentina, like for example, like when I took my son, there's like 3 workouts a day.
Wow.
Real
And
deal.
they're all different. They're all different workouts. Some of them might not even have a soccer ball involved.
Skill sets.
Yeah. It's just motor skills. You know what I mean? So it's just an entirely different level, man. And I think it'd be beautiful. I think that it's going to be the opportunity is tremendous, man. Tremendous. I remember when I went to my first soccer match in Barcelona. This is in 2013, I guess. And I'm looking at the field, and from my eyes, I'm looking at it from a professional football player's eyes. I'm like, what position could this guy play in the NFL? What position could this guy play in the NFL? And I'm looking at it, might have been like on a field of 22 players, it might have been like 2 or 3 guys out there that could have played in the NFL. Maybe I'm saying if you change their skill sets, you know what I mean? Taught them how to backpedal, and it might have been 2 or 3 guys out there on that field that could have played in the NFL. And I'm thinking like, imagine like if NFL cornerbacks, NFL wide receivers, NFL running backs had a soccer ball placed at their foot at an early age instead.
Yeah.
What kind of product would you have out on the field right now? You know what I mean?
And also guaranteed money.
Yeah.
It would be the game. It would be an entirely different game.
Yeah.
It would be like watching basketball back when the Celtics dominated, and then back when the Lakers dominated in the 80s. It's an entirely different game.
Straight poetry. Yeah.
And that's the same thing that's happening in soccer. You know what I mean? And we're at the precipice. We're at the forefront of it.
Yeah. Sure enough. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna say, of course, never goodbye. Always the door is open. You let us know when you need us.
That's right.
We'll jump right on. Like I said, you helping us out. You helping out the community.
Yes.
It's for the kids.
Yeah.
So we're willing to help you out in any way possible.
And on my end is you talk about platforms or whatever. We're your official platform into them big guys you deal with. Hey, we blessed to even get you before it pop off, because the plan is amazing. So we glad we glad we in the beginning stages with you, and hopefully we can go through the whole thing with you and the progression or whatever, and we can look back on this a year from now and just be as proud as we are now. You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate you guys taking the time and giving me the platform, and taking the time to explain all of this. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get all this out. You know what I mean?
You got me want to kick a little something.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you guys took the time. And, we had the time kick it up and chop it up a little bit. And, I'm looking forward to coming back and sharing even more.
You're welcome.
It's definitely a lot. You know what I mean?
We ready when you are.
Just let us know. We got you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, brothers, man. I look forward to getting back to the crib and
definitely
sitting down, having a little brotherhood smoke or drink or whatever.
And one thing I can say too is and good morning. Man, I know the time difference is bad, but good morning.
Yeah, man. It's 2:30. It's almost 2:30 over here.
Woo! Man, I'm in my third drink.
I got something to help me go back to sleep though.
You got
that's right. Good. But that Ethiopian coffee ain't gonna let you go right to sleep. No way.
Yeah.
You might be out there doing some push-ups or something.
Yeah, do something.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, man.
It was good talking to you boys, man.
All right,
let's talk to you guys again soon. All right.
Hits, cuts, bruises, bars.